What's good, peeps? Thanks as always for passing by the channel. Much appreciated. Hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new, don't forget as well, please to like and share the vids. Again, thanks to everyone that continues to do that. You can also support the channel as well. I do have a Patreon account. The link is in the description. All right, Gervonta Davis versus YURIORKIS Gamboa this weekend, the final fight card of the year. If I had to describe this year in one word, it would probably be stacked. It's been an absolutely stacked year. I mean, I don't ever remember a year with this many events or this many fight cards. There's been weekends when there's been like 4 or 5 fight cards on one weekend. So it has been stacked. I'm not saying that we've had the fights we wanted to get, but well, in fact, we've definitely not. I actually just watched a video I did back in December 2018 saying these fights must happen in 2019, and none of them happened. I said we have to see Wilder Joshua, obviously didn't happen. Tiffin Farmer versus Gervonta Davis, Loma versus Mikey, what did I say, Charlo Andrade and Spence Crawford. None of those fights happened. So we haven't had the fights we wanted to see, but it has been a good year nonetheless. We've had some great fights, some big upsets. I think 2020 should be as good. It has been good. If I was to score this fight year out of 10, I'd probably give it a 7 or 8. It's been good. But again, we didn't get to see the fights we wanted. All right, let's talk Gervonta Davis versus Gamboa. Excited? Not really, if I'm honest with you. Not really. Not at all, if I'm honest with you. And that's not taking anything away from either man. It's just not a fight I wanted to see. I'm more interested in the undercard fight between John Pascal and Badou Jack. I shouldn't even call it an undercard, sorry, co-main event. That's going to be a very good fight. But this one might be good for a few rounds. Gamboa is 38 now. I remember when Terence Crawford fought Gamboa and people were almost saying Terence Crawford shouldn't fight him, like he's washed back then. He was unbeaten, but because of obviously the inactivity, the issue with PDs, everyone was like, what's Terence Crawford fighting him for? 5 years later, because I do believe that fight was 2014, Tank's fighting him 5 years later. So yeah, not super excited. There was a time when I was very excited about Gamboa. He was explosive, strong, right? Remember him, very muscular for the weight, had done well as an amateur, Olympic gold, I think, as a flyweight, world championship medalist as well. So had done very well as an amateur, and everyone was excited about his progression to the ranks. And it started off very well, but then came the issue with the PDs and inactivity. I think he even signed to 50 Cent's label or something, I don't remember. But yeah, that was then. This is now. He is now 38. And I don't see what Gervonta Davis gets out of beating him, if I'm honest with you. When are they going to let, and when I say they, I mean Al Heyman, Leonard Ellerbe, Floyd Mayweather, even Gervonta Davis himself, when are they going to let him off the leash? Like, what are we waiting for? He's 25 now, 22 fights, 22 wins, 21 knockouts, and I still think they're a bit tentative with the matchups. Like, why? Like, sink or swim. Like, put him in there with someone. I mean, I look down his record, and the only one that really stands out as a good name is Pedraza, because we all saw what Pedraza done against Loma, so that's the only one. And again, why not after fighting Pedraza, who was unbeaten at the time, why not go then? I mean, there were too many good fights at 130 to pass on, and he did. Jojo Diaz was there, Tevin Farmer was obviously, that fight should have happened, and Miguel Bichel, that should have happened as well. None of them happened. I'm tired of it. And then we've gone to 135 right now, which again is a stacked division. And look at it, Teofimo Lopez, obviously Richard Comey, Luke Campbell, Devin Haney, Vasyl Lomachenko. You know, if it was a case of he beats Gamboa and then we know he's going to fight one of those guys after, then you know what? Fair dues. It's the first fight at 135, kind of, because he has missed weight at 130 a couple of times. But first fight at 135, fair dues, fight Gamboa, then take on those guys. But we all know it ain't going to happen. He's not going to do it. And I don't understand what they're afraid of. I mean, we're all excited about Gervonta Davis. He's starting to kind of carve out his own name. You know, he's almost thought of as Floyd Mayweather's protege. I think he's starting to kind of find his own way now. He's starting to sell a few tickets. The numbers are going to be good. He can knock out. We know that. He's exciting. What's the issue? Why are they holding him back? I don't get it. And maybe I shouldn't be so harsh on him with his development, but let's not forget, this guy had a fantastic amateur record. He's won 2 belts at 130. He's unbeaten. He's got a fantastic knockout record. What's going on? Plus, with Gervonta Davis, you get him on social media calling out everyone. I mean, in the last 4 months, Gervonta Davis has called out Tevin Farmer again, Jojo Diaz, he's called out Devin Haney, he's called out Josh Taylor, but then we get these opponents. I mean, it's like he's having one battle on Twitter, so everyone thinks he's there, but then in real life, he's fighting these guys. And I don't mean to discredit these guys, but you can't call out these guys and then fight these guys, especially when everyone you're calling out is kind of mixing it. I mean, Tevin Farmer's fighting Jojo Diaz. Let's not forget that. Josh Taylor just fought Progress and might fight Ramirez in unification. I mean, Teofimo Lopez just fight Richard. They're all fighting apart from Gervonta Davis. So it'll be very interesting to see how this fight plays out for the first 4 or 5 rounds. Again, Gamboa is explosive. He is strong. He is big. He's been at the weight a few years now, so he's naturally that size now. So good to see what he does for the first 4 or 5 rounds. But providing Gervonta Davis survives, and I expect him to survive, I expect him to stop Gamboa sort of round 6, 7, sort of the midway stage. I just think Gamboa will slow down because of his age more than anything. And Gervonta Davis, who is obviously the fresher, the younger, probably the naturally bigger. I mean, if you see him sort of in between fight camps, he's a big guy. I just think he'll start to close the distance and then eventually stop him, because that's what he does. And then he'll get on the mic and he'll call out, I don't know, let's kind of put a bet on. He'll call out Loma or Devin Haney, and he won't fight either, because that's what happens. That's exactly what happens. Again, this guy's managed by Floyd, and we know how Floyd liked to kind of do a bit of that throughout his career. So, exciting fight card. Who else on that fight card? Uskatagui, if I pronounced that name right, or did I butcher it? He's on the fight card. Exciting super middleweight fought Caleb Plant for the IBF title. A lot of people say he's the reason James DeGale vacated the IBF, because DeGale would have had to fight him. So yeah, it's a decent fight card. It rounds out the year. It has been a good year. It has been a good decade. And I look forward to what's coming in 2020. Peace.